Hello, everyone. This is Caleb Hale. I am the Director of Communications for the SIU Alumni Association. Thank you for joining us again for one of our lunchtime live chats that we like to do from time to time. I'll bring up our guest today, Matt Kupec, in just a moment, but there are a couple of housekeeping items I'd like to share with everyone before we do jump into the conversation. Coming up fairly soon, we do have our homecoming events that will be taking place. And if you go over to our Eventbrite website, which is siualumni.eventbrite.com, you'll see a number of listings, places you can get registered for a number of our upcoming events that are happening October 15th and October 16th. We'll be doing a lot here at the Alumni Center and some stuff surrounding the game on Saturday, but obviously we want to see as many people back as we can at homecoming because this is the first time in a couple of years we can see as many people back as we'd like to at homecoming. So do make sure you check that out. Sign up for any events that you seem interested in. Also, down here on the lower quarter of the screen, you might see our SIU Alumni Association app. We launched that with that earlier this year, and it's still popular, being downloaded. It's a great source of information. If you want to know, if you want a quick reference to something about SIU, about upcoming events at the association. So it's available on iOS and Android platforms. So I would encourage anyone who wants to get that connection going, visit your preferred app store and type in SIU alumni, and you'll bring it up and go from there. So I want to introduce our guest for the day. It's Matt Kupec, who recently got himself a new job as the interim athletic director of SIU. He currently also serves as the CEO of the SIU Foundation as well. So Matt, thanks for joining us today, and let's start with a brief introduction on yourself.
Sure, Caleb. Thanks for having me. It's you do a great job. I've watched you on the show before. You got a great talent, and it's great that we do that. The one thing in my new gig. So I've been at SIU for 2.5 years. I've about a year ago became president of or CEO of the foundation, and love that gig. And we're doing some spectacular things with a really talented group of colleagues over there, raising money to support this great university. And just a couple of weeks ago, the chancellor asked me to step in and serve in an interim role as athletic director, and I said yes. And I'm happy to do that. Matt Bauman, excuse me, is the chief of staff at the university. He's helping on the back end on administrative duties. And the plan here is to do both roles, and not a lot of hours open anymore, Caleb, on the calendar. I've been over here a couple of weeks. We're going to start a search where we bring on a firm who's done a lot of searches in the athletic arena area before. Then, we're hoping that we believe this is a great job. We'll get a lot of qualified candidates, and hopefully sometime early in the start of the new year, we'll have a permanent AD. But in the interim, Matt, the two of us, I've been over here. I've been blown away by the team over here, the head coaches. I think our head coaches are as good as you'll find anywhere. We have 370 student athletes. Just the commitment to being a student athlete. We take great pride in our mission is to be a national leader, to win championships on the field and the court and the track, to be champions in the classroom, be champions in the community. And, I think we have a storied history here in athletics. And, we're going to address some issues we have. We'll talk about it in a second. But I've been blown away by the uncanny commitment and determination and real love to be at this place. And I'm very bullish on the future of Saluki athletics to be I say that we will be the best in the BCS level. A big part of that is financially. You gotta do championship investments, and we've had make some tough cuts. I'm trying to looking at them more temporary. We got to find the revenue sources to put them back into play to make sure we provide a great environment of support for our student athletes. But it's sent out a letter today to all those in the Saluki Athletic Nation, and just introducing myself. But I'm a former athlete. I played undergraduate quarterback at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill for 4 years, starting quarterback. Handed off a lot, but I was the bowl of MVP of 2 bowl games, the first player in the history of the ACC to do that. I've been in higher education my whole life and fundraising, but I've done a lot around athletics and athletic departments. So I'm certainly well versed in athletics and athletic administration, and really privileged and honored to accept the chancellor's invitation and join with Matt Bauman to two-headed Matt this and to provide just some real stability now, leadership, and we'll get a full-time person in soon.
Okay. Yeah, no, obviously for context, the athletic program has been in the news lately. Obviously, turnover at the top will do that. There's
Mhm.
also some issues regarding personnel that's currently
Mhm.
being investigated. Now, it's not necessarily our role today to litigate all that, and it's not necessarily what we need out of alumni to, litigate on that. But if you could address that, and basically primarily through how have you kind of introduced yourself and talked with the staff about this right now?
Yeah, and that's a great point. We're always going to be transparent. We believe that's our obligation, and we've had a couple of cases in 2 of our sports where some allegations came forward, and we take seriously at the university any and all allegations. We felt it was important to address it and deal with it, so we started an investigation here, not being conducted by the athletic department, but within our professionals within the university. We're in the process of interviewing our student athletes and others to get an assessment of it, and we can't rush that process, but we will do it. We're totally committed to it, we're expecting, hopefully, that soon we'll have some resolution, and that we will share them with everyone. But we take seriously our commitment to our student athletes, and we care, and to provide those kind of supports, things around running an intercollegiate athletic program that give the student athletes a great experience. Again, not only in the sport they're competing in, but their educational experience here. But I do want to say, they are allegations, so we're looking at them. I've been really impressed with our head coaches here and their commitment to the full student athlete experience. And again, as I said earlier, I think we've got a group of head coaches that I'd put up with anybody anywhere. And I've been around some big schools. So, that's something that will unfold here. Hopefully we will have resolution, we expect soon. And then we will be forthcoming with any announcements we have, or going forward in our plan there. So it is, but we want to address it head on. We don't want to run from it. And again, I think it's important that the institution and the department here take any allegations seriously, and we will investigate.
All right. And, everyone's, I think, understands,
Yeah,
appreciates the transparency, but at the end of the day, too, these are fundamentally personnel matters,
yeah,
and you can't
correct,
necessarily air those out
correct.
in public, no matter how much people do want to talk it through. But I think more importantly, what do you see? What's kind of your early assessment of what you've seen of the program and where the potential is going forward, just in 2 weeks of
Yeah,
looking at the
I
program?
think it's, again, looking at the plan. The plan, again, in my mind, is pretty simple. I think we've got a mission statement that talks about being a national leader. I talked about that earlier. And to be one of the best athletic departments in our level. There are 127 schools in FCS. In the Learfield Cup last year, we finished 22nd. So there were 21 in that, where they look at all sports and they give you assessed points. We were ahead of 33 BCS schools. We were ahead of Cincinnati, Kansas State, what have you. So, we're in a good position there. We want to be, again, we've got as many MVC titles, I think, as we're tied with, I believe it's Illinois State for most in the conference. We have 60 Olympians. We've had 8 national championships, 101 academic All-Americans. So, again, that gets us into the second. We want to be champions in the classroom. And our students have really extraordinary GPA. And it's part of the academic support we provide and the commitment of our student athletes to be student and athletes. And then we want to be champions in the community. We do that. We're working at, making sure the community, everybody knows exactly all the good things our student athletes and coaches do to make this a better community. That one of my favorite expressions is to the world, you might be one person, but to one person, you might be the world. And just think about that. To the world, you might be one person. To one person, you might be the world. And so anytime, we have a big opportunity in many ways, I think, as role models in our athletic department, student athletes. A lot of young people look up to our student athletes, our coaches, and what we're doing in the community can really have an impact on a young person or life going forward. So, that's really the DNA of this place. And so to do that, to be a national leader and be champions on the field, in the classroom, and in the community, you got to have a plan that really is both an investment plan. I'm going to call it championship investment. You're giving our tools and our student athlete the resources to be champions. And then you've got to have a revenue plan to support that. Unfortunately, over the last decade or so, we've incurred some significant debt, and we're addressing that. I think we've made, I said earlier, some cuts at this point, but we come up with a strong revenue plan, we'll be able to restore those. And that's I'm a revenue person, and certainly we're looking at that. And I think there's great opportunities. There's within an hour of Carbondale, Caleb, there's 700,000 people. That what we saw in that football game was pretty cool last Saturday. The excitement. I was on the field when Jeremy Chin was introduced, the great alum who's now one of the best players in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers, and he got a rousing student ovation. I had goosebumps, and he had goosebumps. It's that kind of support we have, and I love that. But then on the night before Friday night, Caleb, I was over in the excuse me, the light went out here.
You haven't moved enough yet.
I haven't moved it up. I was at the volleyball match, and we were over in Davies Gym, and there was a great turnout, and that place was rocking when we won. Well, we lost overall, won the second set. I thought the roof was going to come off. So, there's a real great feeling on this campus right now. We had a really good enrollment this fall, our largest first-year class in, I think, 5 or 6 years. There's a real energy there. Certainly we're still in the midst of COVID, and we've got to be careful, but just getting back to some more of normalcy. We were able to give our folks here a 2% raise, the first raise folks have gotten in a while. And so there's a real excitement. And in many ways, athletic departments, I think we've all heard the front porch, of a university. And we can be a lifting, not only for the institution, but we can help the region. So, it's trying to rally all those forces together. One of my other expressions that I love that I mentioned in this email today, it's an African proverb that said, you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, we must go together. Mm-hmm. And it truly is. And it is a we thing. And I see that here. I see the commitment of these folks over here in the athletic department. I see it over in the foundation. What a talented team we have over in the SIU Foundation. Heck, I see it, Caleb, with you and with Jeff Gleam and the great leadership he's providing. Say, there's a real, and we want to be part of that. We want to be an accelerator and really lift this university, lift this region, and I'm very bullish on the future of Saluki athletics.
Yeah, let's talk about what's kind of the alumni investment and interest in the program right now, because that was a pretty good turnout for the Family Weekend game on Saturday. There was what 8,600, almost 9,000,
86. And it's interesting,
and
Caleb,
they
when
and
you
they
look.
got to see a great comeback game as well with
Great,
ISU. So
great game. And from a revenue side, it was our largest single game revenue outside of ticket sales that we've had in over 6 years.
okay,
So it's, again, it's the championship investment revenue, the excitement. I got to tell you, our tailgate is off the charts. Awesome. Saluki Row is called. I was blown away by the first game. Again, I played and worked at the University of North Carolina with great Atlantic Coast Conference School. They don't have any kind of tailgate like we have here.
hmm,
This past Saturday, I was doing my early morning walk over to the stadium, making see how everything was going in game day preparation. There was about 20 people there, about in already getting their spot in the tailgate. I went over to each one and thanked them for being there and their support. But it's just a cool environment, Caleb. The tents that we had out there, and I think at homecoming we're going to have a bunch more tents. So it's pretty cool. And I tell you what, that inspires our student athlete football players. They feel it.
right,
Again, on the sideline, the energy in the crowd. That I'm going to tell you, that lifts you as a player. So, and Coach Hill is just doing an incredible job with our program. I think he is one of the best coaches out there in football. Again, we've got him across the board. What he's done with the program, the way our student athletes represent this university. I love talking with them. I love hearing their dreams. That's a great privilege I've had in these 2 weeks. I get to interact with student athletes. What energy, what excitement, what promise, and what great young people they are. So, the alumni, coming out to the game, coming out to those tailgating. We've got, as you know better than anybody, the Saluki Nation, Caleb, is strong out there. We
hmm,
got 260,000 plus alumni. Heck, I say I think there's fewer than 50 universities having more alumni out there. And I will tell you, the mask you guys have, the Saluki mask,
right,
one thing about COVID, when you wear that mask, no matter if you're on a plane, if you're in a store in Bowling Green, Kentucky, or anywhere, there is somebody who comes up to you and says, "Hey, are you from SIU or Salukis?" And they'll talk to you.
yeah,
It's pretty cool. There's that sauce there in the Saluki Nation. So getting alumni to come out, get engaged, get involved, participate in it. Well, most of our games are on ESPN Plus, so watching it on there, it's
right.
again makes me very bullish about not only athletics but the entire university.
Yeah, well, we were up in Chicago this past weekend for our SIU at Wrigley Day event, and if you
Yeah,
think about how many people are in Chicago versus how many people's paths you're going to cross, that's a pretty small number that you're going to get. But still, out of that
yeah,
small number of people we actually crossed and interacted with, there were Saluki connections with at least three of
yeah,
the people that we came up with. And it was
yeah,
either a brother or
yeah,
someone they knew had
yeah,
attended.
yeah. I've
So
I've, I've heard a lot of great stories about Carbondale and the Salukis over the years. It's pretty cool, and you and I both love it. We kind of unplug sessions with folks to hear the history, the impact this great university has had on people. We're going to go up to Chicago next week, with you and the foundation. And, we're going to put on we had an idea, Caleb, years ago, right before COVID hit, about taking the university up to the Chicago area, putting the flag in the ground and saying, "Hey, Chicago, hey, Windy City, this is Saluki territory, and move over Northwestern, move over UIC. Here, the Salukis are here." And Sunday we're going to kick that off at Ravinia Brewery. They are doing a working relationship with McLafferty here, Annex, in our fermentation science program. They're going to be producing beer, and I've learned a lot about the fermentation science. Thank you, Caleb, right there. And it will kick it off on Sunday. It's 2 afternoon. Should be a great day. I think there's a couple of cocktails thrown in there, as part of the entrance. We got well over 200 that I think well over 200 that RSVP'd. And then we've got a series of events that will run throughout the week. Tuesday night, there's a big reception hosted by the chancellor. We got a huge turnout for that. Before that, we're going to do a little game day kind of thing, Saluki, around near the Palmer House where the reception is, where Mark Silverman, our very renowned alum, who was part of Sylvia and Waffle. I get whatever is it Waffle, or I forget the exact name of the show. He was a Waddle, Sylvian Waddle.
Okay.
He was a former wide receiver, I believe, for the Bears. Mark's got an ESPN afternoon talk radio show from 2 to 6. So we're going to have a little game day experience. So come out, any Salukis in the Windy City area, wear your maroon, wear your Saluki colors, and then we're going to have that reception. We're going to have the next night, the Dunbar Leadership Society is a group that we formed to further engage African alumni in the university, philanthropy, and we got a really good reception there. And then during the days, Caleb, we're signing 5 agreements, renewing one with schools, community colleges in the Windy City to build that pipeline, further build that pipeline between Chicago and SIU. And we think this, and the best part about this, Caleb, this is the inaugural. This is something we're going to the Windy City every year. Next year, part 2. And of course, next year, our football team plays up at Northwestern. So
Right.
it's going to be cool. And then we're going to take working with you and Jeff and your great team. We want to take this Saluki takeover tour around the country. We're planning on going to Florida. We're going to do one in Southern Illinois. Great thing, Caleb. A number of alums have asked about when the takeover tour is coming to their city. So, the key is we're going to be committed to it. It's not a one and done, but this is going to be part of our operating program every year. And again, here is you're looking at right now. Caleb's got up there. You go to SIUF. It's .org backspace whatever that is, Chicago.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can see that.
if you just go to siuf.org, it's right there on the home
It's right
page,
there.
and
Okay.
it'll take you on there. And the best part about these, they are anything you can register for is free to attend. So
Yep.
if you can make it out to see us, you're welcome to come see us. We like he said, we'll be at Ravinia on Sunday. There'll be a reception with the chancellor on Tuesday at the Palmer House Hotel downtown, as well as a couple other smaller events down there. So whenever we're in town, definitely we want to see and get connected with as many people as possible. So do try and make the effort to get down there. I know Chicago's not the easiest place to get around all the time, but we definitely want to make the effort to get with as many people as possible.
And,
And
and
that
Caleb, just then we come back. We'll have homecoming. You mentioned it before, and I want to talk about that incredible tent you all have up there in the courtyard behind Woody Hall, the class of '67 quad. That is so cool. And I guess we're going to have a concert on Friday night. I've heard about the great concerts in years bygone, past. And the chancellor is very interested in bringing concerts back to Carbondale,
Mhm.
back to the Banterra Center. So this may be the launch on homecoming with the concert we've got going on.
Right.
That's going to start again, bring back the tradition of great bands coming through Carbondale.
So there's some momentum here on a lot of fronts on campus, and probably none other than with students themselves,
Yeah.
and the fact that we're trying to get more students. We're being much more active and aggressive on recruiting students on there, and a good transition into that would be to talk about a little bit more about the continuation of. The Forever SIU campaign for students.
Yeah.
It's a campaign that initially launched in 2017. I think the plans to officially continue it, or to have a public event around it, obviously last year were curtailed
Right.
by the COVID pandemic. But I think we're you know basically that hasn't necessarily stopped the work being done on it. So talk a little bit about that and about
Correct.
how
Thanks,
this is
Caleb.
continuing.
That's right. So the campaign does have 3 years left, about two now, 2 years and 3/4. Ends June 30th, 2024. We've raised about 135 million towards our goal of 200 million. Now we raised the goal. The original goal was 75, and Salukis together. Again, we blew past that goal and we raised the goal from 75 to 200. It just shows the great outpouring of support and interest and belief in this institution. And it is a heavy focus on students, that's for sure, both the recruitment, the retention. We want to get students here. We want to keep them here through graduation to go on and lead a productive and meaningful life after having that great Saluki educational experience. So, yeah, we're thrilled about that. COVID has certainly thrown us a few curveballs here. And but I tell you that the Saluki spirit is you don't stay down. Even when in the height of COVID, and again, I know we're still dealing with it, we refuse to go totally to the sidelines. And one of my favorite examples is the Day of Giving, and which is a big, has become its fifth annual last year. It's become a great day where we pause and ask all those in the Saluki Nation to support the university. And last year, even in COVID, we couldn't get together because normally we have some really cool on-campus activities and real energetic and get-togethers. We couldn't do that. So our creative team, led by Rebecca Renshaw and Brittany Bateman and Jeff Wilson, came up with the idea of having a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
We had 8 hours, the same technology we're using right here, Caleb. We were the only university in America to do that. And we had 8 hours. We featured our academic all across campus. I think we showed like 137 videos.
Right.
8 hours. I was the host, and man, that's a long time, but it was great. And we raised, our goal was 1.5. We raised nearly $2 million. Broke a record, blew by the record. We had gifts from 3,700 Salukis, alumni, and friends. By far a record-breaking year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become one of the great days. We've got homecoming, we have commencement, and I like to throw now Day of Giving in there as one of the really important days in the university. And I want to thank everybody out there who's supported that, who supports us here, the university. It's impactful. We are truly appreciative, and we thank you for what you do to support this great university.
Right, and it was the thing I think the epiphany we stumbled upon in doing it that way last year was, we actually were able to reach in the moment and on the ground more alumni than we would have been able to if we had been hosting events here on campus as we had done before in the past. So I'm guessing there's an element of the live stream that's going to stay from here on out because it does
Oh,
help to
for
get
sure.
so much. But what's kind of coming up about the Day of Giving for 2022? Because
Yeah.
each year we just kind of set the bar a little
Yeah.
higher and see
Yeah.
how high we can jump then. So what's the
Yeah,
plan there?
we're we haven't set the goal yet, but certainly it's going to be in that 2 million plus range. And again, it's dollars are one thing, but it's the impact that it's having. Those opportunities to keep a student in school, to get a student here. That's what we got to celebrate and talk about, and that's what each and every gift contributes to it. It's collectively it works that way. So we're going to do a combination of in person and this stream what's it called,
Our,
StreamYard
our live stream,
technology.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm not going to be the host this year. We're going to bring someone else but I did enjoy it. But one of my favorite segments was with Jeff Glean. You're a great leader in the Alumni Association. We had a great time, and Jeff's a great colleague. Jeff and I are great friends. And it's fun to see how well the foundation and the Alumni Association work together. It's just better than anywhere I've been. It's a tribute to Jeff and the board and Caleb, you and your colleagues. And heck, I drove with Jeff to Kansas State. We were in the car. We were in the car for 7.5 hours up and 7.5 hours back, 15 hours. And I swear we talked so much, it went by in a matter, felt like hours. And we were conquering the world that day. I tell you, that Jeff Gleam's got a lot of great ideas. So,
Uh-huh.
and it's fun, that energy just between our organizations, because we are better together, and
Yep.
we certainly are together. Just, again, 15 hours in the car. Now we'll say coming back, we didn't have a hotel room coming back, and so Jeff was the shotgun in the car, and he was in charge of finding a hotel along the way. But we would pass an exit, and he would be looking back. Come on, Jeff, look forward. But I'm just kidding. Jeff was great. We found
Yeah, I heard that story. I think you made it about 3/4 of the way home before you found a hotel. But
it was like 2 o'clock in the morning before we got a hotel, and we're knocking on doors, at that late hours. You get anybody to come to the hotel front desk, but
yep.
it was, again, it's fun. Again, that's I've never had that kind of great relationship with the folks leading alumni before. I'm not sure why, but that's the kind of teamwork we have here, and within this campus, and I feel with our great alumni network, there's a real sense of team and working together. And truly, without getting corny, 1+1 does equal 3. In this case, equals 3 because of the synergy. And again, and just, the more we can do to get our Saluki Nation engaged, involved, you can help us in many ways. Caleb talked about admissions, and we talked about attending events. I'm certainly, in terms of your financial support, it's a great lift for the university. It's a great lift, the message for our faculty and staff that are so dedicated, and for our students, and in my case, friend of the student athlete. So again, together we're so much more powerful, and we can go so far, as that proverb said. Together, we'll go far. If you want to go far, we go together. So it's just, there's just cool things out there, Caleb, and again, it's just a real honor to be part of this Saluki Nation. I grew up in Long Island, New York, and I watched Walt Frazier play for the New York Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a youngster, and again, I felt like I was a Saluki a long time ago. So what Clyde the Glide Frazier, what he was doing for the Knicks back then, they were champions.
Right.
And so I've when I came here, I felt like I was already a Saluki, and certainly are ingrained, and really enjoy working with everybody at this great place.
Well, and I think what many people find when they, it's if they've got ideas to share, if they've got feedback they want to give, they can pretty much go directly to one of us to do it. You're available. I'm
Mhm.
available. I think they find if they meet the chancellor, he's given
Yeah.
out his personal contact information to people, telling them to give him a call. So you're not too far away from someone who
Yeah.
can get things moving if you've really got
Yeah.
the spirit and the idea to get
Yeah,
things
and
done.
on that, I can't say enough about the leadership of Chancellor Lane. I've worked with a lot of chancellors in my life, and he brings to the table just an incredible vision, incredible energy. Caleb, we saw it at St. Louis. I love this about the guy. He spoke to our. We had at the outside the stadium there an alumni event, and he's great at getting folks, introducing folks into his talks, hearing from where they're from. And by the time he's done, it's like a reunion, or it's like a wedding, and there's selfies and pictures, and nobody wants to leave, and there's such energy in the place. And that's the kind of leadership he's bringing across this campus here. It's infectious, it's effective, and it's inspiring. And again, and then working with the president of the system, Mahoney, President Mahoney,
Hmm.
those two have a great relationship. I see it. They work well together, and it's just it's just seeing things really align, work together. It remains us all very bullish about the future of our great university here.
Okay. Well, Matt, thanks for taking the time with us today to talk with us. I hope everyone who did tune in live found some value out of it. Of course, people can watch later. We'll probably get many more people tuning in then. So hopefully the message resonates, and that you'll join us at one of our upcoming events that are happening. Matt, anything else you want to close out
Caleb,
with?
keep up the great work. You guys are doing awesome stuff. And the last thing I can say is go dogs.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day.